We're going on a ghost tour tonight. Are you ready for a spooky adventure, baby? She looks a little scared. We'll be finding out why Savannah has been declared the most haunted city in America. I'm sharing the highlights of the tour in my own words because filming the tour guide isn't allowed.
Why do you seem so scared?
The reason Savannah has been deemed the most haunted city in America is because it was literally built on top of the graves of Native Americans, slaves, victims of a yellow fever epidemic, graves that were vandalized during the Civil War. This city is one giant desecrated graveyard. For example, this playground where children run around laughing, having a good time, is built on an orphanage graveyard. There are children buried underneath that slide. Kids playing here have reported some strange sounds and visions of childlike apparitions.
Please come and play with me. La 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 la.
This beautiful neighborhood is built on top of a massive slave burial site. Slaves weren't buried respectfully. They weren't placed in coffins 6 feet under. They were thrown in the dirt, sometimes just 2 feet under. And the West African slaves brought to this area a religion called hoodoo, similar to voodoo, where they conjure up the dead and consult with them. But this area has been deemed spiritually poisonous, and conjurers refuse to enter this cursed area. There have been a lot of strange happenings reported from these beautiful houses. This one in particular, which sits empty again. Two sisters lived here, then left the house vacant for 44 years. When they were asked why not rent the house out or sell it if they're not living in it, they said they couldn't, in good conscience, subject anyone else to the frightening experiences they had in that house. Then after they passed away, the house was sold to a woman who lived in it for about a year and then fled. And now it sits empty again. When people question the woman as to why she fled the house, she refuses to discuss it. People looking into the house at night have reported some strange sightings. Any ghosts here tonight? Ah! Oh wait, that was my own reflection. I have to correct something from my murder house video. The boy fell from the roof on the north side of the house here, not the south side. And this is where he was impaled through his skull.
They put a new tip on.
The fence was repaired at the site. I can see where it's irregular compared to the other arrow tips. When the boy was on the roof using a slingshot to injure and kill pigeons, witnesses in the area, including the other boy he was with, said he moved toward the edge of the building as if some unseen force were pushing him. And they couldn't explain how his head ended up hitting the spike. He should have ended up on the sidewalk according to the law of physics. I was thinking maybe he was having seizures, or maybe one of the many spirits of Savannah didn't appreciate him tormenting pigeons. And now I'm going to share the most disturbing story of all. During the yellow fever epidemic of 1820, when people contracted the disease from a mosquito bite, they would fall into a very deep coma. And medical science wasn't very advanced, so people were being declared dead when they weren't. And they were being buried quickly because they mistakenly thought it was an infectious disease. So allegedly, people would go to the family crypt to inter one of the many people that died in the epidemic, and they'd find evidence that another family member in the crypt that they thought was dead had gotten out of their coffin, and there would be signs that they tried to scratch and claw their way out of the crypt after they awoke from their coma. And this would be their mother or their child that was buried alive.
Help me. I'm begging you. Can you help me?
Also, according to this legend, so many people were dying in the epidemic that some of these people who woke from their comas found themselves in a mass grave, literally buried in corpses. That's gotta suck. The fear of being buried alive during this era led to the invention of the safety coffin. A bell would be attached to the hand of the deceased, so if they came back to life, so to speak, they could ring the bell and alert someone in the graveyard that they needed to be removed from the grave and rejoin the living. So zombies were real in the city of Savannah.
Come to me, the men in the dark said.